Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Hello.
Hello.
Good evening.
We were
Good.
just discussing that after the rollicking events of the past couple of sessions, we're going to start off at least with a little quieter session. Bless you. Everybody regrouping, comparing notes, and deciding what you're going to do next. So as we pick up in the back in your hotel rooms, Joey, why don't you start tonight?
Okay. Hi, I am Connor Leone. I am the group's driver and angry Irishman.
And Bry?
Hello, I'm playing Birdie, who's currently unconscious after making a real smart decision.
Do you fall asleep immediately upon returning back to the hotel?
Uh, I think she probably does.
I don't blame you. And Travis?
I am playing Theodore and Victor Oswald. Father son tag team. Um, you know, since it might be a little lighthearted, I might switch between the two.
Okay.
You
And
know,
Devin?
I don't think you care as much in this situation.
No, not at all. And Terry?
I guess that leaves just me.
Yep.
I am Terry. I play as James. I am the nerd. Pretty much just the nerd. Knows a little bit of how to patch people up. Uh, knows a lot about random shit, and pissed off a god by sending it away.
Well, that's a good thing to start with. You will have noticed that. So you and Birdie together kind of recovered a spell from the ancient past,
Yeah.
which I have put onto both of your character sheets. And as you've had a little time to think later, most likely you didn't actually use magic to cast him out of there. It was more that all of you answered no, and he left.
Ah.
Uh, this is not diminishing your accomplishment, uh, but just so that you know, this isn't something you can just say, I chant this, and the god goes away. This is something that you have to prepare in advance, and it has a certain level of investment to make it work for a certain period of time.
Ah.
But it was an extremely appropriate way to refuse his offer. Let's see. Uh, Another thing is that as you as you have been sitting and talking to the others, you've been piecing together what you learned inside the temple with what you had already read in the book Life as a God, which describes a previous generation's priest going into the temple and meeting with the god himself. Uh, you it's going to complete your reading of Life as a God. You unfortunately are going to have a bout of madness at this point. So I would like you to
That's
roll a
fine.
d10 for me. Okay. This isn't so bad for you. Uh, Okay. Yeah, you're going to the trauma that happens to your mind in this moment is going to make you forget everything that has happened to you since the last time you felt somewhat safe, when you were just a student at college. Before any of this adventure had happened to you. This is not permanent. Don't worry, it's not permanent. But just suddenly you're sitting here in Egypt, you're thinking of you think of yourself as being here on your last visit to Egypt.
Oh.
And you're not going to feel the urgency or the accomplishments that you've had for the past few sessions.
All right.
Is this in the middle while Theodore and
Yeah, this is basically when you were winding up the last bit of your conversation last time, probably when you were sitting there eating quietly together. Is when
you just kind of forgot everything?
Yeah, he's going to to the rest of you. You're going to see him loll back in his chair for a moment. He's experiencing a severe trauma.
The settling realization.
Yeah. Connor sees it happening and is just preparing a drink for him.
This can just be a role-playing note. You don't have to do anything special here.
How long would it last?
About 10 minutes. It is perfectly legitimate to skip over it if you don't want to.
Yeah, whenever you start freaking out, Connor will produce a drink and say, relax, you just told God to go fuck himself. Have a drink.
Yeah. I'll probably be confused with what you're talking about, but you know what? Yeah, I'll take a drink.
Question. Is this his, second drink? Terry?
No, I think this would be the first.
No, but he had a drink before, the moonshine. That tastes like apple pie.
I don't think I... If you're saying if this would be...
This would...
my first? Or are you talking about the first of the night?
No, for, your second drink. Is this your second drink?
Ever. Or today.
No, I believe this would be, what? Third or fourth?
Okay.
I've ever had?
I'm just keeping track. Mental stuff.
I would assume that Birdie would constantly, whenever I would go to go celebrate, anything, or whenever we would go over, because I remember.
Mostly, I'm asking if it should be worrying or not.
I would assume you'd be a little bit worried that I would just grab it right away and just actually start chugging it a little bit.
Okay. That works for me. I'm just making sure.
I'm not taking normal little. I'm not drinking it normally. I'm going a little bit to town with it.
All right. I don't think Yeah. Connor, what are you up to?
Connor is just occasionally just making a drink for someone, giving Birdie some space while also checking in on her, and just basically like trying to make sure everyone is together right now before, you know, he freaks out.
That's a good point. Birdie has had the most traumatic experience recently. Do you have anything you want to say or do right now, or are you content to just be kind of passed out?
I think for a while she's just going to be very, very quiet. Quietly accept a drink and just sip at it instead of chugging it like she usually does.
No, we did a 180.
Mm-hmm.
James is just shooting back the drink.
I assume Birdie has been informed of what happened in the temple. You know, that she was channeling a god.
Yeah, you absolutely do not remember it, so yeah, you do have to be informed of what happened.
Theodore's just gonna look around at everyone just moping around, like...
Oh, I'm no longer moping.
You're just impressive drinking. I think Victor would know what that is. Or Theodore wouldn't have seen that before in someone.
Yeah.
Ah, but I'm not moping anymore. I'm drowning myself.
Guys. We're in Egypt right now. We can take a day to relax, right? Like, take a day to ourselves. Everyone okay? Everyone had something to eat recently. It's night. Do we want to get some rest? Do we want to go hit the town hard? What are we feeling?
Considering the last thing that happened when we went out to meet somebody was we got attacked, I don't know if we should leave the hotel room.
You're overthinking things right now. No one knows who we are. We're gonna do fine. There's no cops involved yet. Let's go drink. Let's go do something. Come on. I'm only gonna take yes as an answer. There is no no's here. It's a yes and now. All right.
Did we not inform you? The only place really to get any kind of drinks is coffee shops here.
Are they open 24/7?
I doubt it.
Is anything open 24/7 here?
I doubt it.
You're not exactly in New York.
I think that makes it so much more better.
I think if we want a drink, we're gonna have to just sit right here and do it.
Just as the good Lord intended. Connor's pouring a drink from slowly pouring a drink.
Connor, I think it's going to be you that this occurs to. Just a moment, Theodore said the police aren't involved yet, and you're thinking about how you left an awful lot of dead bodies piled up in a mosque. But he's right. You've seen no signs of the police, and that didn't actually show up in the papers or anything.
And while he was joking at first, he goes, "Oh." It's weird. It's weird that we're not seeing any cops actually. Because there's how many dead bodies now?
An excessive number.
I almost forgot about that.
Dead
I almost
bodies?
completely forgot about all those bodies.
Did anyone tell you about dead bodies, Sean?
Who wants to play Jean tonight, or should I take him?
Just take him.
Yeah, does Jean know about this? I'm trying to piece that together in my head.
Okay.
No, because I don't think he was with us.
He was.
Yeah.
I don't even think Theodore would know.
Theodore and Jean have just been like actually having a vacation.
Yep.
So he'll say, I thought you were bringing me as the muscle. Why are
You're
you
right.
going off having fights without me?
Why are you guys going out without not having fights without us?
To be fair, we weren't expecting fights in a mosque.
Why were you fighting in a mosque?
Because it was fun.
Specifically to spite you, Theodore.
I like that energy. Keep that energy up. Let's
Your
raise
father,
it. Raise the spirits.
Connor taking a sip. Your Connor is a fucking madman.
What happened was we were meeting somebody who had some pretty bad occurrences happen. And turns out the folks that we're after, your old colleagues, I'll motion to Jean, didn't much care for that and decided that they were going to interrupt us extremely rudely.
That is kind of rude.
That is much of the job description. I will say I never met too many of the brothers in Egypt, but I do know the signs. I know the passwords.
Is there any way to tell if a building's marked or like, you know, one of yours? You know, like what is it? Hobo, like, you ever heard of hobo symbols? You know, we kind of cut them into buildings.
That is not a very good way to keep a secret.
I mean, only if you don't know.
Right, but this is a very old cult. This brotherhood goes back for millennia, and the world at large still does not know about it.
Well, how would you find other people if you ever were separated then?
Well, you tell me that Omar al-Shakti is the head of the cult here. He is the head of the Brotherhood. You could, if you want to... If I were here, if I were in this chapter, I would know that about him.
Okay.
As in England, I knew who was the head of the cult there.
If I remember correctly, he dabbles in what I can't remember correctly. What is his portfolio economically?
Well, he's
what people.
Jean is very good at fighting.
No. The chapter head.
Okay. He's an imports and exports guy.
Gotcha.
Businessman.
Yes.
Do we know
He has a
what?
plantation. And he definitely has a whole bunch of artifacts in his house. Without seeing them yourself, you couldn't confirm how many are legal versus illegal.
All right. Do we want to rate it? Do we know where his house is?
You don't, but you don't think it would be that hard to find out.
It takes some time.
All right. We could take a few days to recover, But you know, guys, we gotta come together and figure out what we're doing. We can't just have a nice vacation. At least I can't. I need to do something. I've just been kind of lazing about. I don't know what y'all been doing apparently.
Channeling gods. And making them very angry.
You should. I forget. Is it channel even for radio?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay. Then you should change the channel. Ha. Ha.
Theodore?
Yo,
Have you been getting into my stash?
No?
I think at this point in time, I think this entire time James has just been handing back the Connor, just like not even saying anything, just like kind of shaking the cup a little bit, like a little bit more, please.
Has he been indulged? I'm gonna assume yes.
If Connor doesn't indulge him, I will.
Indulge who? On what?
James
is,
on more booze.
not saying anything, but is asking for more.
Oh yeah, yeah. Connor wouldn't even react to who's asking him for a drink right now. He's just giving drink. Like, Connor is okay. He's just in I am taking care of everybody right now mode. Because I know I'm the only one that's doing good right now, except for the people out of the loop.
I do want to apologize for what happened in that temple.
Shh. He says shush. All you did was sit in a chair.
That is not all that I did, actually. But thank you.
Besides, you gave us the opportunity to tell that thing to go fuck itself.
I don't know if that's an opportunity I should have given you.
It's my favorite sentence.
If you are curious about the Brotherhood, I would assume that a significant number of the people who work at Al-Shakti's plantation or in his house would be members.
Here's a question for you. How often do folks in high places get replaced?
You're talking about Gavigan and Zara.
A bit about them. A bit about our two lovely companions who seem to have been hand-chosen.
Are you... Okay, out of character. Are you talking about Victor and Connor? Or...
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Talking about Victor and Connor and the fact that apparently they have something going on. I don't know if they were explicit in detailing what happened to them, but...
Yeah, if you've been a little bit open with Jean about this, he'll tell you. I was a member of the Brotherhood of the Black Pharaoh for a year or two. It doesn't sound like... This one says that he is a priest of some god of worms? Father of maggots, you said.
Yes, yes.
And this one of the Black Wind. I don't know these cults or brotherhoods.
Well, they seem to be the same god, from what I can tell.
Do they?
Would the lackey of one god be asked to babysit the lackey of another?
I don't know. If anybody wants to check out the point that she's driving towards here, go ahead and make a Cthulhu Mythos roll.
Doesn't hurt to see if
No, it doesn't hurt.
I would figure anything.
Damn.
What am I rolling again?
Cthulhu Mythos. But you're a little bit better at having read that book.
Damn!
Well, okay then.
Yeah.
I guess I'll roll it too, but I don't think...
Well,
No harm in rolling. Chance to level it up.
Well, it doesn't level up. Only whenever you learn something new does it level up. Using it doesn't do anything.
Cthulhu? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
this one does not. This one and credit rating do not improve with use.
Okay.
Uh,
Hello, everyone. I'm a little, bad at this game.
don't worry about it. Yeah, I'll let Theodore have rolled on this too.
No, I'm sorry.
It's alright. Because otherwise James could have spent just 3 points of luck and gotten it, so it's fine.
Yeah.
You're going to... It's going to occur to you that just because it seems like Nyarlathotep is behind each of these cults that you've encountered so far, doesn't mean that they're all pursuing the same goal, or that they know that this is the same entity behind them. In fact, you'll have heard some stories about his cults being at war with each other sometimes, as though they were pursuing as though their goals could actually be at odds with one another.
What if he's just conning them as different people and just, I don't know, having fun with them like they're toys? They seem to fight each other. They seem to get along 1 minute, at each other's throats the next.
At that, Birdie will finally just start chugging.
In fact, Theodore, just because...
I'll spend like 2 luck.
No, I'm just thinking of the best way to say this.
Okay.
he can be working against himself and still come out on top.
What does that even mean?
That means if he has 3 different plans going that screw you over, it doesn't really matter which one comes out on top.
Okay. Okay. So yeah, you know, this man, this thing that we fight, apparently likes to have multiple plans upon plans. We apparently he took an interest in you guys enough to say that he wants you to stop, which tells me that you're annoying him enough to get his attention, right, guys? Like, that seems a little suspicious. So we're doing something right. We're doing something right.
Are we?
Andrew?
Yeah.
Is there any way to check if there's anyone staking out the place, following trails or anything like that?
Well, how do you mean?
Like if someone were to like go out the building and just kind of like check the place out, like if there's anything. Yeah, I want to case the joint.
Okay.
I want to make sure no one's.
Yeah, if you want to go out and just see if you notice anybody suspicious hanging around the hotel, I would say it's gonna take you a while because, like, you gotta be alert for if anybody's sticking around for a suspicious amount of time. If you want to spend a few hours at it, you can make a spot hidden.
All right. That's what Victor's gonna be up to now.
Okay. Does he tell anybody?
No, he just kind of goes outside, slips out. Everyone's.
Sean, would you please go with Victor and make sure he doesn't get into any trouble?
He finishes his drink and says, "All right."
Jean, not Connor.
Oh, I heard Connor.
I thought I heard Jean. I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah,
So,
it was
I heard
Jean.
Connor, but yeah, Jean. Yeah, Jean's like, finally some action.
Yeah,
Every time that he goes out, he tends to kill something. So
I mean, it's not like you can't go, Connor. The more the merrier.
he briefly looks at Birdie and says, "I think I have to assist in the morale here."
Yeah, so the two of you can head outside for a while, and you can keep playing Theodore for the moment.
Yeah. He wasn't really doing much, and like, you know, paranoia, it takes a man places.
Sure.
I'm gonna still say that still my bout of madness, and I'm gonna be asking for another drink still. Just constantly doing that. I don't know if you want me to roll anything or at all, but I'll be constantly doing that every once in a while.
After
Not
3 or
saying
4 drinks, Birdie's just going to reach over and pat his hand. You might want to slow down a little bit. You're gonna regret that a lot more than you're gonna be thankful for it.
So guys, what's our next steps?
Find some way to avoid getting possessed again?
That sounds like a good first step. Next step? I think we're already on the right track. We're trying to find Andrew's killers and bring them to justice.
Hammers.
Jonathan.
Did I say Andrews
You
again?
said Andrew.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry. My brain matched Hammer and Andrew as the same
Ugh.
person a while
I'll
ago.
pour one out for the fallen homie. Goodbye.
Ugh.
It's almost
Just
like
for-
we can still hear him laughing at us.
Just for that, one of these games, I'm going to come up with an Andrew character. Just a character named Andrew.
You know, I think that'll be fun.
Just to mess with
Everyone
you.
playing a different character, but
That won't
having
make
them
things
named.
confusing at all.
Yes, that's
Nope.
why I find it fun.
Yeah, and then I'll make a Bri.
I'll create a Joey.
Yeah.
Are we doing this to Dan, or how are we doing it?
Yes.
We should do that. That'd be funny.
That'd be great. Okay.
Well,
Just
I'm
play
gonna
as
get up.
caricatures of each other.
Yeah, I'm gonna get up and get something to drink. I'll still be here. Sorry. I ran out of drink midway through.
How dare you?
So, James,
yeah.
your period of amnesia is over, but you are still in a bout of madness for about, let's see, roll another d10 for me. That's how many hours it lasts. Where any further loss of sanity will put you into another bout immediately. So, 6 hours.
6 hours,
You're
alright.
sensitive for about 6 hours.
Well, I had, let's just say, either 4 or 5 drinks. I'm just gonna sit down and just relax for a little bit.
Aside from just briefly being told that she channeled God, would you guys have gone into any detail at all about what it said or anything like that?
I
Or
mean,
what happened?
what happened to you in
Con-
that intermediate time?
I think I'll leave that. To
Connor
Connor.
would tell Birdie that basically he offered us all like exactly what we wanted out of life. Or it, rather. Let's not gender the Eldritch Horror.
Its gender is beyond human comprehension.
So like a secret third thing?
A secret ninth dimensional thing. Which is way worse.
Okay, guys? What? I think we should go to bed, and the next morning we can visit either the farm, or we can go to the newspaper. Those are our 2 other leads, right?
Those are 2 of your major leads, yes. You also know that there is an artifact at the Mosque Ibn Tulun that the cult is interested in. You know about the current expedition that apparently lost a mummy and is currently located in Memphis. You know about the archaeologist who was let go from that expedition after the mummy was lost.
I'd like to speak to the archaeologist at some point.
That wouldn't be a bad
So-
idea.
Let's do newspaper first, then archaeologist.
We also have our I don't remember his name, but from that we talked to before at the museum.
Dr. Ali Kafour.
We can always talk to him and see if he knows anything about. Maybe not show him the symbol, but show him like part of the drawing I have, and that there's another piece, and if he would at all know where this other piece would be at.
Okay, that's a fair question. Alright, so the plan is to rest for the rest of the day, and tomorrow morning go out and go to the newspaper, right?
Yeah, I guess so. Unless there's someone there last night, you know.
So, Victor, after you and Jean kind of case the perimeter for a while, and you shake down a few people who it turns out were hoping you would hire them, you don't find that there are any suspicious people hanging around your hotel.
How do they keep turning up at the right place?
Well, when they turned up at the mosque, it may not be you who was being followed. That's what you can conclude from that.
Okay. Unless one of those people trying to get a job were actually secret hidden.
You feel pretty confident because you rolled a hard success. You have a high level of confidence that you would have roused out any suspicious folks.
All right.
Please don't pull a Connor and just just harass people. Sorry for my sound.
Let's see.
I mean, I feel like it would be in character for Victor to harass people, though.
Paranoia does some strange wonders to a man.
Quote unquote wonders.
Okay, let's see. Need to give this man a token real quick. Alright, next morning you can get up, you can have your breakfast. Which of the Oswalds is going to go to the newspaper?
Victor's more interested in the farming guy, export person.
Okay, so you'll let Theodore go to the paper, and then Victor will show up for the next expedition.
Yeah, that's fair.
Let's see. Birdie.
Yes.
Connor. No, I'm gonna give you until
okay.
all the rest. James.
Which, did we roll luck last time?
Did you
I
roll
think
luck
we
last
rolled.
time? I think you did.
I think so.
So, everybody recovered a little bit. A few hit points. Daily sanity loss counters got started again, and James, your bout of madness is over. So when you head to the newspaper in the morning, which is not difficult to find, you can just ask your guide, your dragoman, to get you over there. I think my scale might be off. Let me fix that real quick. That's still not right. That looks about right. Okay. Yeah, you will make your way over to the Cairo Bulletin, which actually is pretty conveniently close to your hotel.
Nice.
Now, before coming in here, you do remember that this is one of the few places that Hammer stopped when he was in Cairo, before he quickly made his way on to Egypt. What is your story? Like, what are you going in here at? How are you introducing yourselves? What do you want to ask about?
And anyone got something? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, nobody knows.
Sorry, the question?
What,
I was still getting
what
ready.
are we doing for story for these guys?
You don't need to have some sort of elaborate lie cooked up. I'm just wondering how you're presenting yourselves. Are you associates of Jonathan Hammer? Are you related to members of the Carlisle
We're
expedition?
associates
and
of...
information on that.
I got it. There was an article about Andrew Hammer. There was an article about Hammer here, correct?
He visited the paper.
I don't think there was an article about him being here, but we know that he was here.
Yeah.
Theodore Hammer, is coming to find clues about his late father and wishes to understand what his presence here was about.
So,
I'm lying.
You have a member of your expedition that this is a true story about.
I might be a chronic liar.
I would say just introduce ourselves as friends of Hammer, ask why he was here, what he was doing here, if it had anything to deal with the Carlisle expedition.
Okay.
And if asked why, just say introduce myself as James Reed and say that my parents were part of that expedition. And unfortunately, Hammer never explained or got to explain to me what he did out here before passing away.
So, you go inside, you talk to the receptionist, you give her this story. She leads you back to the editor, Nigel Wassif, who is a British man. Early middle aged, well dressed. And when he hears that you are associates of Jonathan Hammer, he greets you. He says, I was very sorry to hear about what happened to the man. And you say you have a personal connection to the Carlisle expedition. He was here investigating that a bit. It's a sad story, I'm afraid. I still have the file over here in the drawer for what he asked me to pull together for him when he was here. He only made a brief stop, I'm afraid. He never came back for further discussions. Well, we have he will pull out a file from a drawer near his desk. Put it on his desk in front of the group of you so that you can page through it. There's an article.
I'll look through it.
Yeah. There's an article with a photograph showing Sir Aubrey and Roger Carlyle, Hypatia Masters, Dr. Houston. So just so we're on the same page about all these people that you've heard about over the course of several months in real time. Sir Aubrey Penhew was the founder of the Penhew Foundation in England, where Edward Gavigan has been taking care of it in his absence since his apparent death. And Edward Gavigan was, of course, the head cultist in England. Roger Carlyle, of course, is the rich man who funded this expedition. Hypatia Masters is a society girl who had previously been romantically linked with Roger, and subsequently has been involved in several of his wild ventures. She joined the expedition apparently as a photographer. And Dr. Robert Houston, who was Carlyle's psychologist in America. And it is not entirely clear why he joined the expedition. There's a photo of the four of them emerging from a dinner in their honor at the Turf Club. There is a picture of a man in a tight tuxedo in the background who you take to be most likely Jack Brady, Carlyle's bodyguard.
Yeah.
There are several society articles in the clippings here. The expedition arrived in May of 1919. They excavated sites linked with the Third Dynasty. They worked near Giza, shifted to a site near Saqqara, then to Dashur. This, James, you will peg that this doesn't make any sense. None of these sites have anything in particular to do with the Third Dynasty. You're not the first to notice this either. There was speculation in the papers about the expedition's secret purpose. And later on, some rumors about Carlyle having made an astonishing find, but without any details. These are in the society papers, where sensationalism is the main thing. In July, the expedition suddenly embarked from Mombasa. There are some more distant articles about Carlyle having fallen ill. Sir Aubrey indicated that the summer was too hot for Roger Carlyle, that he had a somewhat delicate constitution, and said that the seasonal flood of the Nile was going to cover an important site where they wanted to dig for the next several months. Who all is looking this over? Is it just James while the rest of you are making small talk?
Yeah. Good.
I'll help look it over.
Alright. So, one of the two of you go ahead and make a spot hidden roll. Whoever is looking at the photographs.
I'll make it.
Go for it.
Okay. So there are some photographs with Hypatia Masters with her camera. She, again, was not a professional photographer. She was somewhat of a society girl. And so when the articles...
Sorry.
I think I'm going to actually spend 12 luck on this.
Okay.
Go for it. 12 ain't bad.
No, 12's not bad at all. Cool. So, it is not usual for a photographer on an expedition to be published in the paper holding her camera. Like, this is clearly more of a prop to her. You get... Your eyes start wandering around a little bit because this doesn't really have any bearing on an archaeological expedition. And you're going to notice that in one of the articles from July, in the background there's a calendar that shows the month of May.
All right.
So it appears that the photographs of Hypatia were taken during the first few days of the expedition.
Okay.
So with the two that he's talking to, Theodore and Connor, while they're looking over the papers, he'll after making nice about Hammer for a while and saying, you know, I had met the man a few times before. He was a good investigator. He will start complaining about the Carlisle expedition when it was in town, saying they were simply horrid. They had guards around at all times. Who chased off any of our reporters who showed up to ask questions about the digs or to take any photographs. It was, I mean, I understand that in the academic fields they have a bit of territorial interest to keep others from publishing their own finds before they have a chance to write them up, but generally, especially these, I mean, you know, Carlisle himself was no academic. It was just unusual and awkward how he refused publicity.
Do you think he might have been hiding something? Or...
Well, clearly they were hiding something, but I don't know whether they had any legitimate purpose in it or whether they were hiding ineptness. With Sir Aubrey accompanying the expedition, you wouldn't expect it to be run sloppily, but you know, Carlisle, of course, not exactly a professional academic. They, I don't know. They had dinner. The principals of the expedition had dinner a few times with a local businessman who, I don't want to. You understand? I'm a businessman in this town myself. I can't be spreading too many rumors, but they had dinner a few times with a local businessman who I personally find repellent. His reputation is unsavory.
What's that one guy's name that I keep bringing up?
Al-Shakti?
Was it Al-Shakti by chance?
Make a psychology roll as he reacts to this.
Okay. Psychology at 57. but I got...
Yes, it was. I see you've heard of the man. I don't know if it's simply that all rich people insist on doing business together, regardless of the reputation around the world, or if Al-Shakti might have been courting Carlyle for business in America. I couldn't say what the connection was.
Hmm. I don't know how we want to play our cards here. So if someone has some other angle to play right now, play it. Otherwise,
I
I'll throw
will
something out there.
bring up the photos and ask if he caught that at all.
Okay. So you ask about the photos that were run later.
Mm-hmm. And what I spotted, and if he noticed it at all either.
So he'll shrug. He says, "It's possible. I don't really recall when we would have taken the photos versus when we ran them. I can tell you, Miss Master was she felt ill sometime before the expedition left Cairo. So it's possible we simply didn't have any. She wasn't in the public eye in the short time before they left." I don't believe she had recovered before they left for Kenya. Now there is, I'm sure you've been making some investigations around town. I believe. I'm sure you've heard that there is another expedition sponsored by the Penhew Foundation in Egypt right now. It recently unearthed the mummy of an unknown female from a secret chamber in one of the smaller pyramids.
I believe I have heard of that.
Yes, they.
We have.
Now they. This isn't a certain thing, you understand, but I have heard speculation that this was actually the mummy of Queen Nitocris.
I can't remember if I have this correct or not, but don't we also know that somehow the mummy kind of disappeared?
Yes, when you mentioned that, he says, "Yes, I see you are up on the local gossip." They had plans for the mummy to be unwrapped and some tests carried out to verify its age, but the entire sarcophagus and all of its contents disappeared. The police have obviously gone to put some effort in, but have turned up no leads.
That is strange.
Yes, the site was very well guarded. There was only one entrance to the secret chamber where it apparently stood, and yet somehow an entire stone sarcophagus was spirited away out of this secret chamber in an ancient temple.
I'm just gonna say quietly enough that my companions can hear me, but he hopefully can't. I still think the damn thing got up and walked off.
Yeah, if you don't want him to overhear you, he won't.
He's polite.
Saying that just out of context to anybody would make you instantly think that she's insane, so.
Question.
Mm-hmm.
Do we want to reveal the fact that the connection between the Carlisle expedition and Al-Shakti is like a cult in origin?
I don't think we do.
No, because it could also paint a target on our reporter here.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't feel like painting more targets on people back.
So, how can I push a roll if I really wanted to? I feel like there's not been too many pushed rolls, and I want to gamble
Well, it depends on what role you're trying to push.
a psychology roll.
Okay. So you can question him a little harder in the direction that you were heading when you made the psychology roll. Like, what a pushed roll is you realizing, well, that didn't work, and trying a different tactic in a way that can turn disastrously upon you if it fails.
So, you said you didn't feel like spreading gossip or ill will upon Al-Shakti, but it seems that you have an inkling of his dealings. He is a person that we have interest in, and we need to know more. Is there anything else you know?
Okay.
Am I still rolling psychology?
You are still rolling psychology.
Off the record,
No!
I'll add.
Okay. He will... Connor, I'm going to assume you're kind of standing closer to the door. So he's gonna...
Yep.
He's gonna quietly wave to you to shut the door.
Yeah, Connor nods and closes the door behind him.
The sound of typewriters in the distance and presses whirring is going to die down a little bit. The room isn't completely soundproofed, but apparently he likes some privacy sometimes. And he's going to lean forward to you, Theodore, and tell you, young man, we're not living in the Dark Ages here, but it can still be very dangerous to talk about cults.
I didn't bring up the mention of a cult though, right?
Didn't you? What did you say?
I was talking about like he had an inkling of what kind of person he was.
Okay, then, yeah, it can be very dangerous to talk about men like Al-Shakti.
Okay.
It's I have my own personal opinions about the man. There is nothing that I could actually print in the papers, and if I did had good enough evidence to print in the papers, I would still be very careful about doing it.
You know, there are people who investigate strange things, and I feel like men like yourself would enjoy
Yes,
having some more potential to write on things. Maybe you give us a lead, and that in an exchange we give you everything we find, or only you.
An exclusive.
well, your friend Mr. Hammer did write an article or two for me back in the day. This is a pretty standard arrangement that I make with reporters at times, but I'm not sure what angle you're looking to write on here. What are you trying to... I understand, Mr. Reed, you're trying to dig up information on the fate of the expedition due to your familial connections.
I'm trying to uncover what truly happened with the expedition.
Of course. Is that the angle that you're trying to uncover here? Would you like... Or... Mr. Oswald's? Where you were leading with this?
I was leading. This man is up to some shady dealings. We've heard some of it, but we want to know more and expose what he would rather leave in the shadows. I'm hinting at maybe a cult thing now.
Okay.
We have reason to believe that authorities might need to be involved in this to a much greater degree than they have been.
All right. Somebody make an interpersonal roll, depending on how you feel you're pushing this.
Interpersonal?
As in charm, persuade, intimidate, fast talk. How do you feel like you're pursuing this?
I'm charming him. I know
I'll
he knows
also push
more.
some charm.
Okay. Well, one of you go ahead and do it.
I would like to push the charm simply because I've got extra skill with that.
Alright,
that's
I'll
okay.
let you.
Okay.
I just want to hear you talk some more. I'm not, no. Just talk some more. Push me out the way if you need to. It's fine, I'm used to it.
Punch him.
Just punch me in the face. Right here.
Birdie doesn't punch people, she shoots them. And I don't think you want that.
I'm talking about you, Bri. I didn't want you to
Me
punch
personally.
me.
I don't punch people. I give them the mom voice.
Mom voice don't work on me. I got too many mommy issues. It doesn't affect me.
Oh, it affects you, just not in the way I might intend.
God.
Let's get that roll.
Yeah. All of my stuff is running slow, so I apologize. I clicked it.
Clicked it, but no result, huh?
I'll try it again.
There we go. Yeah.
Woof.
That's really consistent.
Oh, and then both of them went through. Fine.
That's
Yeah,
fine.
that's...
Alright, we got an extreme on the psychology and we got a hard on the charm. So with the door already closed, he's going to tell you there is an organization said to be in the shadows here in Cairo that I believe brings great shame on Egypt itself. And it's an organization that I personally fear. And if I were you, I would not push. And yes, I believe Al-Shakti to be connected to it. It is...
James will lean forward and will just say in a quiet vote, is it by any chance a group called... What was the cult's name again?
The Brotherhood of
Which
the Black
one?
Pharaoh.
I will go and ask that. I'll ask if it's the Brotherhood of the Black Pharaoh.
That is the one.
We've had a run-in with them already.
We've had a few run-ins with them and with other chapters.
Even actually back in England, we had a run-in with them.
At that, you can see him reappraising his opinion of the group of you. He'll say, well then, it seems you understand the level of caution that's required here.
Absolutely.
I truly do not know why the expedition was meeting with Al-Shakti. But none of my suspicions are of any good purpose.
Nor should they be. Would you be willing to share any of your suspicions?
I think that they are behind a series of murders that have taken place here in Cairo. while the expedition was here and before they left, there were a fair number of residents of the city who simply disappeared overnight. And I
Really?
don't mean over a period of weeks. I mean in a single night.
I believe we've heard of this as well.
I don't know what was going on with Ms. Masters before they moved on. But you have sharp eyes, young man. She didn't appear in public during the last couple months of their stay here. And there was of course a report that she was ill, but I don't know in what way. I think you may have put this together already, but I suspect that they may have had something to do with the disappearance of the mummy from the current Clive expedition.
I have no doubt about that.
I don't know whether the Clive expedition is involved in that or not.
I will, since we did say that we were going to share exclusive information to him, I will mention where the Brotherhood was part of and who were some of the leaders, and tell him about Gavigan.
Okay. He'll when you go down the list of some of the prominent members, and when you say Zara Shafik, he gets like an odd look in his eye. He repeats the name to himself under his breath a few times. And he goes over to his cabinets and he starts going through them.
She was a seller of spices there in England.
Okay. Takes him a few minutes, but he pulls out a photograph. And he brings it over and puts it on the desk in front of you. And he says, "This is..." So there are two people in the photograph. And one of them, he points to the woman in it and he says, "Is this the Shafik you were talking about?" It is.
I will say yes.
Well,
May
James,
I ask,
I think...
who's the other one?
Yeah, he's saying this. He moves his finger a bit so you can see him. He says, "This is Mr. Omar al-Shakti." She's photographed with. But James, do you see a picture of your father?
All right.
He's a little bit older. He's definitely pudgier. Your father, I think, was... like, he was used to field work. He kept in pretty decent shape. This guy has definitely let himself go quite a bit. But this looks like your father having grown a beard and a few pounds.
I think it's just appropriate just to have James kind of look at that and just kind of focus on that and not say anything. See if anybody else wants to say anything, if they notice.
Yeah, I don't know if the rest of you have actually seen a photo of James's father. There's certainly a family resemblance, and you weren't expecting to see a white guy.
Oh!
But he goes on with, yeah, so you see there, if you have confirmation that Miss Shafik was a member of this brotherhood, there is a connection between her and Mr. El-Shakti here.
And what might that be? Also, I apologize. I'm having some network issues, so I'm trying to cut down on stuff to help.
Well, this is simply a photo. This is, as many of the articles we've looked at today, this is from our society pages. This is simply the two of them having been photographed together at a local event. One of the they were raising money for the policeman's ball, I believe.
I think I will now go and ask about if he knows who that man is. Pointing towards my father.
Yes, that's Mr. El-Shakti.
I'll point. Wait, hold on. El-Shakti is the man that I pointed at.
The man you're pointing at, who is to you clearly your father, is Omar El-Shakti.
Wait, okay, hold on.
Uh-oh.
Hold on. My brain put that together finally.
James will go and say that's not Arthur?
Omar.
I zoned out.
I feel like James would have a photo of his parents on him.
Okay.
In like either a wallet or something like that. He'll pull that out and he'll go and show the image and say, "Curiosity. I don't know if it's just me, but these two look the same. Maybe a little bit more facial hair, a little bit more.
What is this
extra
photo?
crown.
Is this just a photo of your father, or is this like a
family photo?
Family photo?
Mm-hmm. It'll be like a really young me, like probably.
He'll say yes, of course.
Yeah.
Like, man, is this you?
The kid in there is me. That is
James,
my
is that-
father. And that one's my mother. Are you sure?
Yeah, he's gone back and sitting at his desk again, and he's opening up a drawer in his desk.
And a revolver pops out.
Well, and he's saying, I hope you understand, I don't intend to cause any trouble for Mr. El-Shakti.
I'm trying to understand. Things
Question.
are not making sense right now.
When did El-Shakti come here? When how long has he been in this community?
As far as I'm aware, his father was a pillar of this community, and he's been here his whole life. He is reaching into his drawer at this point. But he's not going to withdraw anything. He's just going to sit there with his hand in the drawer while you're talking.
I'm going to pointedly look at his hand and then at his face.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, his face has gone kind of stony at this point. He's not showing any expression.
I guess
We don't intend to cause any trouble. We just want to know what happened to his folks.
Well, I don't intend to cause any trouble either. I hope you'll convey my apologies to Mr. Al-Shakti for any offense I might have caused him. And I hope you can assure him that I won't pursue anything that we may have discussed here today.
Of course. As I will grab my family photo, and put my wallet back in my pocket.
Birdie and Connor, at least, are going to recognize that he definitely thinks you're working for Al-Shakti and we're tricking him, testing him to see whether he would give away information about the man.
Theodore's just gonna like look around at everyone. What's happening right now? I don't understand.
Would you folks be kind enough to step outside for a moment so I might have a private word with him?
Holler if you need me. Connor gets up without. Connor walks out without saying another word.
I'm just going to reach over and gently squeeze James's shoulder.
Yes, of course. I'm sorry. I might need. I'm gonna get a breath. I'll be outside.
Does Theodore leave as well?
Yeah, Theodore's just still confused. He's huh? I mean, I guess.
And Birdie will very patiently sit down, put both of her hands like out so he can see that I'm not trying to do anything.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna try and de-escalate this.
Okay, what do you say? You don't have to like go for word if you're not feeling it. You can tell me what your strategy is too.
My strategy is going to be trying to give him more information on why we are doing this, trying to give him more information about what has been happening to us. And although there seems to be a family resemblance, as far as we are concerned, these people are not our friends. I will even hint a little bit at the more paranormal aspects of things that we have been experiencing, just to see how he reacts to that. And explain that we don't want any trouble with him. We don't want to get him in trouble. We are at odds with Al-Shakti. We are not friends with him.
Okay.
Far as we're concerned, we work by ourselves.
Okay. I think by the end of this, you get the sense that he doesn't seem to actually buy any of the paranormal stuff you tell him.
Okay, then I won't go into any of that, but I will explain that this is a very superstitious bunch.
Well, yes, they're a cult, so he believes that at least.
And we have necessarily had to become a bit superstitious ourselves.
Okay. Yeah, so I'll tell you, as you go along, you'll see he'll relax his hand inside the drawer, and by the time you're done talking, he'll shut the drawer.
Okay.
And he says, this is, you've gotten yourself involved in some very dangerous players here.
We have indeed. Trust me, I think we are well aware of that. And I will have let him know about the incident in the mosque as well.
Okay.
I'm not going to tell him the name of the person we were meeting, but I will say we met with a potential contact, and the cult wanted to end that as quickly as possible.
Then, he will confirm to you that there has been, as far as he's aware, the police have not issued any sort of notice of this. His regular contacts in the police haven't said anything. He says, if you'd like, I will try to make some gentle inquiries about it and see if I can find out if the police know anything about it or not. But it sounds as though it has been covered up.
It does indeed. And if these two were fundraising for the police, then I have a feeling we both know why that might be.
It's entirely possible. It is absolutely possible. It's also true that people with power, regardless of whether the police are directly involved in their scams, want to be on their good side.
That is correct. Either way, I don't think I'm going to be trusting any officers anytime soon.
I would certainly not take anyone into your confidence as you have me.
And I want to be clear, the only reason I have taken you into our confidence is because of the blow that was just dealt to James.
Yes, what is going on there? Why does he have an old photograph of... I come to
That's
think
his...
of it.
That is his father.
It's a strange thing, but he has not appeared in public until fairly recently. There are only recent photographs of the man. Before that, it was he lived in some seclusion. At least since the death of his father, I believe.
And when was that exactly?
I'm going to have to go through the records. I will do that. I'm going to go through our old records and look into the history of the man a bit. It's going to have to... Yes, where can I contact you?
I'm going to hesitate and give him a very long look for a moment just to make sure. And then I will give him the phone number and our hotel room.
Okay. You see him write it down and then tear the piece of paper off and stick it in his inside pocket. I will make certain that no one else will contact you. It will only be me. If anyone else contacts you claiming to be working for the paper, something is wrong.
I hope that it certainly doesn't come to that, and I know that I don't have to say it, but please, for the love of all that is holy in this world, be careful. I don't think I could stand knowing that we painted a target on yet another person's back.
I think this is going to be the final payoff of the extreme psychology roll from earlier. That Birdie, even though it was Theodore that made the roll, you're the one in the room right now. I'm going to let it ride anyway. You're going to get the impression he's not just a newspaper man. You don't know what his position is or what agency he works for, but this man is involved in the British secret police, secret service.
He's got something going on there.
He's got connections.
He is in intelligence.
Okay.
He's got connections.
And he gets to watch us four buffoons bumbling around making a mess of things.
Well, you came in and gave him some information he didn't have. And you have given him reason to look more directly at this one man. But he will give you the same admonition to be extremely careful. Especially if you're going to be involving yourselves directly with El Shakti.
Well, we're not dead yet.
Let's all do our best to keep it that way. It's difficult to say that it was exactly a pleasure, but I am very glad to have met all of you.
And I do believe we can say the same. Now, I'm going to walk out of here looking extremely disappointed and instruct my fellows to do the same and be on our way.
All right. I will be in contact. And I think it's appropriate for us to go ahead and if James wants to have one final scene here.
I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I can. If you need something, I can help you with something.
If you want to have a reaction, you can. If you don't, absolutely fine.
I think James just being quiet as he goes out and maybe just looks up at the sky, and he might just grab the wallet out and just look at the photo one more time.
That feels like an excellent way to close it out.
It does indeed.
So, any last words before we say goodnight here?
Always do your due diligence. Don't trust cops. And don't join cults. It's bad news, folks.
I think the last one's the big one. Just don't join cults.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why would you do that to yourself?
If it seems too good to be true, you need to be looking into them a little bit more.
Yeah, you
Or
should
maybe-
join only the cool ones.
Become one of the fellow Wigglers in Monster Hunter.
Yes!
I promise, it's a
Become
club, not a
Wiggler
cult.
today. Not a cult. Not a cult.
It's a club. Join us.
Have a good night, everybody.
Yeah.
Good night.